Hello everyone, it's Thomas here. So this is a very special video that I'm making right now. This was a request by a good friend I know on Instagram called Jeffrey, or Alison Packard Fan 2002, and as requested by him, he wanted me to review all of this, my entire Mr. Men and Little Miss collection, as you can see right here. Yeah, as a fan of the Mr. Men and Little Miss, I've collected quite a lot of sorry about that. I've collected a lot of Mr. Men and Little Miss merchandise over the years, ever since I was a child, and I still love collecting it now, like all good people who have love for nostalgia do. Anyways, it's less banter, more reviewing. You've got, as you can see, I've got a lot of plush toys here, and even some of the books as well. Well, for the sake of this video, I'm going to start by doing my plush toys. First up, we have Mr. Strong. Yeah, this one's from Persil, as you can see. Hold on. Yeah, Persil, as you can see by that. Yeah. The ears were released along with Persil in 2006, I believe. They made 3 of these, yeah, along with Mr. Strong. They also had Mr. Tickle and Mr. Happy. Hey, anyway, and I have about 2 of these, so yeah. Next up, we have Mr. Happy from from Thai. Sorry about that. Yep, again, another good-looking plush. Good, I love that big smile he has on his face. He looks like he's laughing, and his nice hands are all out, and his little feet. What not? Oh, a bit of dust on him. He's a bit dusty. At least he's not filthy, thankfully. Anyway, next we have Little Miss Princess. Hooray! She cute. She got little cute freckles here, a little nose, and a lovely smile. Lovely blue ballet shoes. Yeah, as you can see, her crown's falling off a bit. Yeah, I'm gonna actually try and get someone to actually sew that back onto her at some point. Oh, sorry. Next, we have Little Miss Naughty. Sometimes I just can't help myself. That was a funny impression. Anyway, she's got nice blushy cheeks, as you can see here, and a pink frizzy hair, green bow. Well, yeah, you can see that this thing still has the label on it. Yeah, it's so good. And her back, yeah. And the next one we have is my personal favourite one, Little Miss Giggles. Ah, isn't she cute? And she just loves the. And where would she be without her laughter and joy? Yeah, as you can see here, she's got her eyes closed here, with her cute little freckles, little yellow nose, and a little ribboned hair as well. And let's see on the back. This is from McDonald's. This was made back in the year 2000. And the year before I was born, so I was unfortunate to not be around when these stuff come. I think McDonald's are currently doing ads now, aren't they? But they're not, obviously not doing this. Anyway, next up we have Mr. Tickle. Again, like Mr. Strong, he comes from Persil. Oh, so sadly I don't have Mr. Happy, unfortunately. This nice big smile he's got, pretty goofy, and his bowler hat. And something right cool here is if you pull his arms right here, they stretch out, pretty much like they do in the books and the TV series. Yeah, pretty cool. Right, now that we've got our smaller plushes out of the way, it's time to move on to the bigger ones. First up we have Mr. Happy's from the Mr. Men show. Yep, I'd definitely say this is quite an accurate looking one. Looks quite more identical to the one over there, the smaller one. Yep, this is Mr. Men's show, produced around 2009, and yeah. Yep, and overall a very good looking one. Ink plush. And finally, we have Little Miss Sunshine. Nice. And we've got her nice little golden hair here, and her pigtails. little freckles, and of course her lovely smile and her little feet. Eat C's, and again we have the label. I've not quite gotten around to cutting that off yet, but still, yeah. Someone actually said, my friend Jeffrey said that this is not the most accurate one, because he said the one with the singing one was accurate, but nevertheless it's still a good one. Right, now we have the plushes out the way, let's move on to the books. Oh yeah, I apologise if some of these look dusty. I've cleaned up. So let's see who we've got on this side here. We have Mr. Messy, Mr. Bump, Mr. Happy, Mr. Sneeze, he's Little Miss is bad, add, Little Miss Splendid, Little Miss Trouble, oh, Little Miss Neat in the last leaf. This was part of the new library that they were making. Mr. Skinny, Mr. Grumpy, Mr. Bounce, Mr. Cool, Mr. Strong, Mr. Chatterbox, Mr. Funny, Mr. Topsy Turvy, Mr. Noisy, Mr. Jelly, Mr. Forgetful, and Mr. Uppity. Yep. I'll just tidily arrange these back up, and then we can and move on to the next set. I'm sorry if this will this might take a while. I'm sorry. All right. Oh. Right. Now that I've arranged these, time to move on to the next set. First we have Mr. Snow. This is one that I recently bought. Mr. Rush, Mr. Tickle, the Mr. Man that started it all, Mr. Nonsense, Mr. Tall, Mr. Small, Mr. Bump again, Little Miss Helpful, and Mr. Clever. And last but on to this section now. We have Little Miss Sunshine, Little Miss Bossy, Little Miss Tiny. This, my friend James, or Jail Rosie Fan 98 will like this. Little Miss Hug, Walter the Worm. Oh, this is quite a new one, a very rare one as well. Mr. Small, again, and Mr. Greet, D, Mr. Sneeze again, and Little Miss Sunshine again. Overall, a very good collection of books I have there. But that's not the only merchandise I've got here, because wait till you see all of this. Oh my. I've collected even more merchandise as well. I've got some mugs, some book, and even a big Treasury book and DVDs. So let's get down to business with some of these. First off, we have the Men Christmas collection, I think, which contains Christmas special. As you can see here, we've got this boy on a bird. You've got Mr. Snow, Mr. Greedy, Mr. Forgetful, Mr. Daydream, Mr. Silly, Little Miss Tiny, and Tiny. And if we turn around, it's got this again. This beautiful presented limited edition 5 DVD box features 48 classic episodes taken from the iconic Miss Men series by Roger Hargreaves, plus the bonus Christmas special. Yeah, I won't read all of that because, yeah. Anyway, let's just open it up and see what's inside. Right. Yeah. They've got all these discs inside. I think they've got Mr. Tickle Saves the Day, Mr. Small Finds a Job, Little Miss Sunshine Brings a Smile, Mr. Bump Goes on a Trip, and the Christmas Letter. Let's get that can up. Right, let's move on to the other DVDs. Right here, these are taken from the 1995 Mr. Men and Little Miss series. So let's see what we've got. We have Mr. Tickle Saves the Day. We've got Mr. Tickle here. We've got several other characters, and it also includes Arrival for Little Miss Somersault, Little Miss Star witness. Miss Late beats them all. Mr. Skinny is up the spout. That's a gratitude, Mr. Uppity. Little Miss Neatsy spots. Mr. Grumble boils over. Another victory for Little Miss Splendid. A surprise for Mr. Tall. Mr. Cheerful doffs his hat. And Little Miss Scatterbrain puts everything in turmoil. Next up we have Little Miss Sunshine Brings a Smile. And the other stories include Mr. Fussy takes a well-earned break, Mr. Clumsy and the Brains and the Brawn, Mr. Brave goes ghost hunting, Isn't Little Miss Trouble Kind, A Weekend with Little Miss Contrary, Golly Mr. Grumpy's Smiling, Mr. Lazy Can't Sleep Anymore, Mr. Small's Big Dream, Mr. Bounce Finds Paradise, What a Question, Little Miss Curious, Little Miss Stubborn Goes Right to the Bitter End, and Little Miss Greedy, Belle of the Ball. Next we have Mr. Small Finds a Job. And let's see what stories we've got here. Mr. Nosy Goes Fishing, Little Miss Trouble and the Magic Paint, It's Very Noisy for Mr. Quiet, Mr. Mischief Becomes an Artist, Lunch with Little Miss Tiny, Mr. Clever Flies His Kite, Thank Goodness for Mr. Slow, Little Miss Shy Goes to the Fair, A New House for Mr. Wrong, Happy Birthday Little Miss Scatterbrain, Mr. Jolly He Goes Time Travelling, and A Big Surprise for Mr. Mean. Yeah. Again. And the final DVD from this collection is The Jokes on Little Miss Naughty. And the stories here are Little Miss Splendid's Gift, Hurry Mr. Rush, Autumn is Coming, One Day in the Life of Mr. Perfect, Mr. Uppity's Big House, Little Miss Busy Takes a Break, Mr. Mischief is Caught at His Own Game, Little Miss Tidy Loses a Friend, Mr. Funny Puts on a Show, An Unforgettable Sunday for Miss Tiny, Mr. Chatterbox Loses His Voice, Hello Little Miss Shy, and An Invitation for Mr. Mess. Again, great collection. And next we're going to move on to this DVD. The Great Alphabet Hunt. Quite infamously known for its poor quality DVD menus, yeah. Just about every fan of Mr. Men and Little Miss have mocked them. I'm here. And there's all the Mr. Men here. Right, as you can see here. Mr. Clever and all his friends from Mr. Land are going on an adventure with a difference. A very special bus trip. Yeah, you can see here you've got Mr. Rush, Mr. Wrong, Mr. Bump, Mr. Greedy and Mr. Chatterbox, all in a maze looking for letters. And there's Mr. Bump there as well. Right. And here we have a Mr. Men and Little Miss Collector's Edition here, which was made to celebrate the 35th anniversary of the franchise back in 2006. The complete original series 1 and 2 narrated by Arthur Lowe, and the complete Little Miss series narrated by John Alderson and Pauline Collins. So yeah, this was basically the original Mr. Men Little Miss TV series that were made back in 1974 and 1983 respectively. You can see all the characters who have appeared in series here. Little Miss Giggles' story was sadly not adapted here, despite appearing on the cover. On the back, you say, Happy Birthday, Mr. Men. It's a bit long, this description, so I won't read it. Anyway, let's move on. Next, we have the Mr. Men and Little Miss Treasury. I had this book quite a lot when I was about little, about 4, 5 or 6, something like that. There's on the back, you see it read here, saying just some descriptions for all the stories that are featured. And I think if we open up, we should get an index of the ones that are included. Here we go. We have Mr. Tickle in a Tangle, Little Miss Sunshine Keeps Her Smile, Mr. Happy Finds a Hobby, Little Miss Trouble Moving House, Mr. Silly Gets the Giggles, Little Miss Scatterbrain Sets Off for the Sun, Mr. Bump Loses His Memory, Little Miss Bossy and the Magic Word, Mr. Funny Upsets Mr. Fussy, Little Miss Neat and the Last Leaf, Mr. Greedy is Helpfully Heavy, Little Miss Naughty Worries Mr. Worry, Mr. Strong and the Flood, Little Miss Dotty Has a Dotty Day Out, Mr. Topsy-Turvy The Wrong Way Round, Little Miss Helpful and the Greenhouse, Mr. Small, A Big Day Out, Little Miss Splendid and the House with a View, sorry, Mr. Mischief, A Spot of Trouble, and Little Miss Tiny, Just the Right Size. What a wonderful collection here. And over here we have a My Mr. Grumpy colouring book with colourful stickers. It's colouring your own Mr. Men book. Yeah. I bought when I saw this book, I thought, why not? Because I love Mr. Men, and I thought colouring one of these would be nice, good fun. And here we have a Little Miss Sunshine Bank. Yeah, you see this slot here for coins. I mean, it's not got any coins in here to prove it. Yep, there's nothing in it. So yeah. And finally, to conclude this video, we have got these mugs. We have a Mr. Grumpy mug. Hold on, let me get it the right way. Glass half empty. Look at Mr. Grumpy's face. I actually got this as a bit of a present for my dad when I was at a charity shop one day. I thought, why not get this, because I like the Mr. Men. And right here we have Mr. Happy, Thomas's mug. Yeah, this is basically a personalised mug for me. And I quite love it. Mr. Happy's smile on it definitely make me joy. And over here we have another Mr. Happy mug. Pretty good, eh? And got Mr. Happy's face on that name, and another image of him right here. Here. Put them all together. So, there we have it. My entire Mr. Men and Little Miss collection. And what did you guys think? I definitely enjoyed doing it all. I mean, with it being the 50th anniversary of the franchise, this is definitely a perfect video to celebrate. And who knows, maybe by next year I might even have a bigger collection. Anyways, hope you enjoyed this video. Oh, don't forget to like, subscribe if you haven't already, and yeah. Anyways, this is Thomas saying farewell everyone, and happy 50th anniversary to the Mr. Men and Little Misses.